Jason Hawkins hadn't set foot on his family's farm in over 20 years. The dusty roads that led to the old homestead hadn't changed much, though the once vibrant fields had started to fade under the weight of time. He wasn't sure what had made him return, the promise of a possible inheritance, or maybe the letter he had received that mentioned a secret his father had kept for decades. Jason's father, John Hawkins, had been a stoic man, never one to share much about his past. When Jason had left for the city, he'd promised himself he wouldn't look back. But now, with John's death and the mystery of the secret his father had kept, Jason felt a pull, one he couldn't ignore. As the old farmhouse came into view, memories of his childhood flooded back. The smell of fresh hay, the sound of the creek running behind the barn, and his father's hard, calloused hands always working the land. But there was something unsettling about the place now. The farmhouse had fallen into disrepair, and the barn, once full of life, now stood silent. Jason knew it wasn't just the place that had changed. It was him, and the mystery his father had left behind. Inside the house, the air was thick with dust, and the weight of memory seemed to hang in every corner. Jason took a seat at the kitchen table, where the letter from his father was still resting. He hadn't opened it yet, he wasn't sure he was ready for whatever it might reveal. But something told him it was time. With a deep breath, he unfolded the yellowed paper. His father's handwriting was familiar, though faded with age. "Jason, there's something I've never told you, something about the land, about the farm. It's time for you to know the truth. When you return, seek out the old barn. There is something hidden there that will change everything. I wish I could have told you myself, but time was not on my side." "Well, Dad." Jason's hands trembled as he read the last words. A secret hidden in the barn? His father had always been secretive, but this? What could possibly be so important that it had been kept for years? He stood up, the letter still in his hand, and walked to the back door. The barn loomed in the distance, a shadow against the evening sky. The curiosity gnawed at him. What was his father trying to tell him? Jason reached the barn just as the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows across the field. He opened the creaky wooden door, and the smell of hay, wood, and old memories hit him. It was just as he remembered, though there was an eerie stillness to the place now. Walking deeper into the barn, Jason's eyes scanned the familiar landscape of old farm tools, hay bales, and farming equipment that had seen better days. But in the far corner of the barn, something caught his attention. A large wooden chest, hidden beneath a tarp. His heart raced as he approached the chest. He could feel his father's presence in this place, the silent, watchful man who had worked this land his whole life, never once speaking of what was hidden here. Jason bent down and moved the tarp, revealing the chest. It was old, covered in layers of dust, but it seemed untouched for years. With a deep breath, Jason knelt down, opened the chest, and gasped at what he found inside. Inside the chest was a collection of old documents, photographs, and a small leather-bound journal. The photographs were faded but recognizable, pictures of Jason's father in his younger years, alongside men Jason didn't recognize. There were also photos of a woman who looked strikingly similar to Jason's late mother, but with a different name written in pencil on the back of each photo, Evelyn Green. Jason flipped through the photographs, each one revealing a deeper connection between his father and this woman. As he reached for the leather journal, something heavy settled in his stomach. The journal was his father's handwriting, but the entries were not what Jason had expected. They weren't about the farm. They were about Evelyn, and about a decision his father had made decades ago that Jason had never known about. The first entry read, "I should have told you this long ago, Evelyn, but the time never seemed right. I promised I'd keep our secret safe, and I will. But Jason deserves to know the truth." Jason's mind raced as he read on, piecing together the fragments of a past he had never been told. His father had been in love with Evelyn, but a promise had kept them apart. Evelyn had left the farm years ago, disappearing into a world Jason knew nothing about. As Jason continued reading, the journal revealed more. Evelyn wasn't just a former lover, she had been part of a larger secret involving the land itself. Jason's father had made a pact, one that would affect the future of the farm, a pact that involved land rights and a mysterious inheritance that was to be passed down. And there was more, much more. The land they had worked for generations had been tied to a rare mineral deposit deep beneath the soil, a mineral that could change everything. The farm was worth far more than Jason could have ever imagined. But the truth came with a price. The inheritance would only pass to Jason if he completed the final task his father had left behind. The last entry read, "Jason, you will have to make a choice. The truth is in your hands. The farm, the legacy, and everything we've worked for, it's yours now, but it comes with a heavy burden. Choose wisely. Choose what you believe in. Jason closed the journal and sat down on the barn floor, the weight of the decision pressing down on him. He was no longer just a son coming back to the farm. He was now the keeper of a legacy, a decision maker for a future he had never imagined. The inheritance wasn't just about wealth, it was about protecting something far more valuable: the history, the promise, and the land that his father had worked so tirelessly to protect. As the wind howled through the barn, Jason realized that the secret his father had kept for so long wasn't just about money. It was about honoring the past, preserving the farm, and making sure that the truth was passed on to the next generation. But it was up to Jason to decide. Would he follow in his father's footsteps, continuing the legacy, or would he make a choice that would change everything? Moral: the story teaches us that sometimes the secrets we inherit can either burden us or empower us. The key is knowing how to face them, what to protect, and what to change. Legacy isn't just about what we receive, it's about what we choose to pass on.